It's hard to be disappointed in the Brewers losing a ball game. It's just how they lost it on Wednesday night, man. Every game counts. Man, they had one in the bag there in the ninth inning. But their bullpen of Megill and Williams, I thought the sure-handed bullpen, their first time together as a 1-2 punch, and they didn't pass the test. We'll get to that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yeah, don't even look at the division. You know, they're 11 games up in the division, but, you know, we're focusing on, at least I am, the Phillies. Scoreboard watching with the Phillies are playing Atlanta this week. Philadelphia won. The Dodgers, late night against Seattle, they won. It came from behind on Tuesday night and won, scoring, 4 runs in the 8th inning. So right now, the Brewers, 52 losses, Dodgers 52 losses. I'm sorry, Dodgers 52 losses, Phillies 52 losses, Milwaukee 53. So Milwaukee 1 out in the loss column for that second or top seed in the National League. And again, yeah, it was disappointing to lose that game, blowing the lead they did. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Great to have you along, everybody. Thanks for jumping in here and watching this podcast, listening to it wherever you download it. Thank you very much. This podcast is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. I don't know about you, and I know a lot of you guys do this. I'm bearing down on every pitch. I mean, I just can't wait to watch the game every day. I mean, I'm looking at the clock. I'm clock watching. I can't wait to watch the game. You know, I do. When our team is playing like this, they are just so fun to watch. Couldn't wait for the game tonight. On tap, 7 in a row. On the line. I had my headlines already written, thinking, all right, they're going to win 7 in a row. Joey Ortiz, a 2-run double on a 3-2 pitch, gives them the 6-4 lead. Devin Williams comes on in the bottom of the 9th inning, and you're thinking, okay, here we go. Hits the first batter, and I'm thinking, oh, that is not good. I just had a bad feeling when he hit that first batter on that inside pitch, and then Fermin doubles. You got second and third, nobody out. And instead of making the Cardinals work for it, Devin Williams walks in 2 runs. And at 30 pitches, Murphy went out and got him. Megill gets the final out, and we're going to the 10th inning in a 6-6 game. Now, Murphy says here that he left Megill in 1 too many hitters, and I think we all agree with that. But if he gets him out, if he gets out of the inning, we're not thinking that. But he's at 30 batters. He thought that Williams was tired. Williams, the stand-up guy that he is, he says, no excuses. I did not get the job done. You like that? Standing in front of his locker in St. Louis and talking. I like that. You know, the Brewers usually have had stand-up guys like that. There are some guys on other teams that I've covered over the years, opposing teams that have been into Milwaukee. They blow a game like that, they're nowhere to be found. They're in the training room. They won't talk to the media. Devin Williams, Josh Hader, guys like that, stand-up guys. Devin Williams, no excuses, didn't get the job done. 2 bases loaded walks, 31 pitches. Murphy said he just ran out of gas. Yep. Murph says he should have got him a little earlier, but I'm not going to blame Murph here. Said he should have brought in Megill. 1 batter too late. Not going to do it because Megill was no better in the 10th inning. He gives him a grand slam to Nolan Arenado, and that was the ball game. Williams had control issues. The night before, he got out of a jam. This time he couldn't. And that was it right there. He got out of the jam on Tuesday night, but that's baseball. Hard to get down on these guys. I know some of Brewers' Twitter is down, and I get it because Brewers fans, I know you've been kicked down many, many times. But this is just 1 loss. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'm mad as heck. I didn't break any bobbleheads tonight. And, breaking bobbleheads, if you know me from being a sportscaster in Milwaukee, breaking bobbleheads is my thing. And you know what? I haven't broken one bobblehead yet this year. That is amazing. I haven't broken one bobblehead yet this year. I'm at least at the 7 or 8 point or 9 at this point. I have a Chris Capiano one right over here. That's just dying to get busted. But it didn't even cross my mind tonight. And this was a tough loss. Tough loss. And yeah, don't anybody say, well, there's still 11 games ahead of the Cardinals. We're not looking at that. We're looking at catching the Dodgers and Phillies. Dodgers 52 losses. They won. Phillies 52 losses. They won. Brewers get their 53rd loss. They lose. And our first chance, as I've been saying here on the show, can't wait. Can't wait for that Trevor Megill, Devin Williams lockdown bullpen. We're going to go right from Megill into Devin Williams, and that's going to be great. But tonight, they went to the 9th inning. They went to Williams to close it out. Megill had to rescue him, and then Megill fell apart in the 10th inning. So the first time of the Megill-Williams duel failed. But you know what? They're not going to fail too often. I bet a lot of things on that. They're not going to fail too often. And the Cardinals were slightly favored in this game, which I was surprised. Buddy of mine talked about it. I said, don't do it. I think he went against my advice. Every time I tell him not to bet against the Brewers win. Tonight, he did bet against the Brewers. His theory is bet against the Brewers when things are going well. That's his theory. Bet against the Brewers against Arizona. I can't do that. So he said, bet against the Brewers tonight. I said, no, don't do it. I wouldn't do it. When they took the 6-4 lead, I texted him. I never heard back from him, and I never heard back from him. I don't know what the heck happened, but I'm sure he got down on the Cardinals and probably won his bet. But, the Brewers, 10-6 losers. Chourio, 4 hits in the game. Boy, Chourio just continues to be great. Since the beginning of August, since August 1st, Chourio's batting .324. .324. Now, he's not going to win Rookie of the Year. It's probably going to go to Skeens. But Chourio is not only 4 hits. Last major leaguer to get at that age to get 4 hits in a game, I believe, was Juan Soto. I think I saw Juan Soto got 4 hits at the age of 20 back in 2018. I want to say 2018. I think it was. I think Juan Soto at the age of 19 got 4 hits in a game. But Chourio just continues to put his name in that type of company. How about Ortiz, though, coming up big? Giving him the 6-4 lead. A ringing double. That Cardinals reliever, Rutledge or whatever his name is, he stinks. Man, did you ever see how the way the ball comes out? How is that guy not have an ERA of like 50? Ketridge, I got to find the exact name. Because every time I've seen this guy pitch, I was like, how is that? How are they not hitting him? Kittredge. With that delivery, that ball, he doesn't hide nothing. How are more teams just not shelling that guy? What's his ERA? His ERA 3.51. God. He's not good at all. He's not good at all. But Liberatore and then Armstrong comes in and Hensley, and that was it right there. Hensley, you're not touching him. 2 Ks in the top half of the 9th inning in his 1 inning of work. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's disappointing. Yeah, it's disappointing. You lose the game 10-1 or 7-2, or if you lose 2-0 when they were down 2-0 and they would have stayed like that, well, you feel bad, but man, losing a game when your bullpen blows, it always sucks, doesn't it? When you blow a lead late like that, those are tough, especially with your all-star closer, Devin Williams. And yeah, when I say all-star, he couldn't be in the all-star game this year, obviously because he was hurt, but grandfathered in as the all-star the previous year. So he's still an all-star in my opinion. couldn't get the job done. How about Hudson giving up the tying home run, making one bad pitch in the 7th inning? Brewers had a 4-2 lead. Hudson gives up a 2-run homer. So the Brewers twice blew 2-run leads. And JD from Locked On Cardinals texts me at the end of the night, and he's very impressed with the Brewers. He says the Brewers are have the most exhausting at bats. He says the Brewers have the most exhausting at bats, fouling pitches after fouling pitches. Yeah, the Brewers get guys in high pitch counts. They work the at bats. They do a great job doing that, and he's right on that. I'm glad JD, good baseball man like him, recognized that. Says the Brewers take exhausting at bats. Text me right after the game. A 10-6 Cardinals win. Tobias Myers, high pitch count. Got him out of there because things weren't going right for Tobias Myers. They weren't going in the right direction. Joe Ross rescued him, and I thought Ross pitched 2 innings of relief, solid relief for Joe Ross. Really thought the relief work by Joe Ross was good. It wasn't until later on when the back end of the bullpen blew it. All right, we come back. We'll talk a little bit more about this game coming up tomorrow. The Brewers have another game there, and then they move on to St. Louis. And something about the Milwaukee Brewers made me cry today. We'll get to all that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers. Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Tonal is for those people who are always in a hurry and they say they never have time to get the job done as far as training their body, strength training. Tonal, when life gets busy, they allow you to fit a workout in that when life is stressful. Tonal, you can get an official workout, an efficient workout, personalized just for you in the amount of time that you have. Even the most dedicated gym goers struggle with consistency. And with anything in life, you got to have consistency. Getting in the car, working out, going places. You got stuff to do. It's tough to get that workout in. Tonal makes it easier for you. It's like having a personal trainer at home. They'll optimize every workout just for you. Unlike traditional gym equipment, Tonal uses adaptive digital way to advance your training techniques. Right now, they're offering listeners $200 off Tonal purchases, off a Tonal purchase with a promo code LOCKEDONMLB. Tonal.com, TONAL.com. Use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, $200 off your purchase. Tonal learns from your movement, provides suggested weight recommendations for every move, detailed progress reports. They even create personalized programs and workout suggestions and recommendations based on your individual goals. You want some health goals? You want to get to a certain point? Tonal can help you out. Visit them at Tonal.com and then use that promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20. Make it $200 off your next purchase. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Where do you get our podcast? Google, Spotify, Apple. Those are just a couple of audio downloads where you can get our podcast. Those of you who watch us on YouTube, that's where you can go. You want to get our podcast every day, go to your favorite platform. Those that I mentioned there, they're all on my Twitter account as well. When I put out the tweet on when the package comes out each night. Also, go to YouTube. Please go to YouTube. Search Locked On Brewers. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Hit the like. Please help the podcast. It's all free. We're here 5 days a week talking Brewers baseball with you. A 30-minute show talking Brewers baseball with you. The hard-suffering, long-suffering Milwaukee Brewers fans deserving of a championship, deserving of good baseball, certainly are. And the Brewers, considering their payroll, and we've talked about that before, and how the payroll is just terrible. John Egan, Brewer Raptor John Egan, says today, I'm stealing his tweet, and you can follow him at Brewers Raptor, says, according to Sport Track, the Brewers have a payroll of $115 million. That's crazy. They're competing for the best record in the MLB right now while being 21st in payroll What's even crazier is that $36 million, close to a third of the payroll, is injured and won't play for the rest of the year. So the Brewers, $115 million on their payroll, $36 million of that payroll will not play another inning for this team this season. That's fantastic. So you're talking about you're talking about a payroll of around $79 million. And yet the Brewers are competing for the best record in baseball. Don't let that interfere with any cause of getting a salary cap. That's not the argument. Don't use the Milwaukee Brewers situation as an argument, because what the Milwaukee Brewers are doing right now, getting the most. Can you imagine what the Brewers could do if there was a salary cap, or what the Brewers would do if they were on an equal playing platform as the Yankees and the Dodgers? Think of that. If the Brewers could go out and get themselves a couple of stars, if they could go out and make themselves some deadline moves, some big time moves, add them to the team. You add a couple of superstars to this team. Where would this organization be now with what they've done in the regular season since 2017? Put them on an equal playing field with everybody else. Where would the Milwaukee Brewers be? $79 million on the payroll of active players. That is just phenomenal. Brewers continue to get the job done. Tobias Myers, don't get worried about that. I was encouraged about Joe Ross, who's pitching to get on that postseason roster right now, I think. There's going to be a battle for the last few spots on that playoff roster. Joe Ross is one of those guys battling for it. So is Elvis Peguero, who's pitching down in AAA. Although Murphy said the other day, Peguero is going to be a big part of our future. Then he said, I think. I didn't hear the quote. I just read it. He goes, Peguero, Peggy, as he called him. He's got nicknames. These baseball guys got nicknames for everybody. Peggy is going to be a big part of our future, I think, he said. Who knows? Who knows where Elvis Peguero is? We'll see if he's even on the postseason roster, but I think Joe Ross is one of those guys who will be fighting for the spot. Hudson giving up that tying home run in the eighth and the seventh inning. He's been so good. But Churio again, 4 hits. Ortiz coming up big. And the Brewers, some good and some bad in this game. Some good and some bad. Coming up tomorrow, Freddie Peralta's on the hill. Freddie, there's some good and bad with Freddie this year. There's some good and bad with Freddie. Freddie's got to stop giving up the home run ball. I know that. Going against Miles Michaelis, who I feel pitches every time the Brewers face the Cardinals in a series. Michaelis is always somehow, I think I play him in a 3-game series, and Michaelis, I feel sometimes pitches 2 of those games. Michaelis goes in the finale, 115, by the way, on Thursday on SiriusXM, the SXM app. Search Brewers to get all 162 of Brewers baseball. Miles Michaelis and Peralta, 115 Central Time for the Brewers and Cardinals coming up. So it is 1 loss for the Brewers. And just on Twitter, I was looking at some of the stuff. Some of you guys are down. Greg, gas cans in the bullpen tonight. Too many walks and hits. Well, I can't argue with you on that. Good pitchers becoming gas cans for tonight. Good pitchers. Sam says the Brewers just never back down. Brewers just never back down. All right. When I come back here after this quick break, I'm going to tell you what made me cry with the Milwaukee Brewers. Boy, man, it did. I'll tell you about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com. Get supplies for the site that is made for the skilled trade. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, electrical products online. Easy to use website, packed with helpful resources, latest product information that's going to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory, 200,000 parts, over 400 of the top brands. Get your order delivered right to your door, fast shipping coast to coast. They got the friendliest expert support. You call them, you're going to get a real person every time. And you pros in the skilled trades, you guys who are getting up before it gets dark out there, You can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, discounts in every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from a free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M. Plumbing, HVAC, electrical supplies, anywhere. Just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Down the stretch we come here on Locked On Brewers. So I'm sitting at my favorite fast food restaurant today. Ordered my 4 tacos. Got the 4th taco free because I'm in that rewards program. Get a lot of tacos free these days, but I'm in that rewards program. And I'm sitting down when I'm on, eating lunch. Eat lunch myself. I go over and it's my time just to chill out and hang out and read online and read my tweets and check out what you guys have to say on YouTube and all your comments, because I read it all. And there's a lot of comments, but I like to read it all because you guys got some good stuff to say, a lot of creative stuff, a lot of funny stuff too. So I'm going through Twitter and I come to the part where there's a new movie, a documentary coming out called Just a Bit Outside. It's on the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers. And I'm watching the trailer. It's about a 2-minute trailer. I was 15 years old in 1982, okay? When the Brewers went to the World Series. And the Brewers got to the World Series and lost Game 7 to these St. Louis Cardinals. And at the time, I didn't think much about it. And yeah, I was covering the Brewers at age 15. That's for another time, but I was covering the Brewers at age 15. I got the credentials and all that up on the wall here to prove that. But it didn't mean much. I thought the Brewers would be back. I said, they'll be back. It's only one year. They'll be back. They got Gorman coming back. They got Simmons coming back. They got Cooper coming back. They got Molitor coming back. They got Young coming back. They got Sutton coming back. 83, they fell out of the playoff race in September. 84, they were 90 losses, and the Brewers did not make it back to the postseason for 26 years. Still have not been back to the World Series. And here we are. So I'm watching this video. And when I watch this video, I'm thinking about, it's at a town that needed a team and a team that needed a town. 12 years into the franchise and the Brewers were in the World Series. And this love affair that the fans have with the Milwaukee Brewers. And I know there's one with the Green Bay Packers too, but there's a special passion we all have with going to baseball games at Miller Park and AmFam Field. In this case, 1982 in County Stadium. And they lost. And I was just like, man, I'm watching this video and they have interviews with Gorman, like today, today's Gorman Thomas, the aging players. These guys are in their 70s now. Moose Haas, Jim Slayton, Paul Molitor, who's, pushing 70 at this point, Robert Yount, and some of the things these guys are saying. And I'm sitting there eating and my eyes are welling up. Kind of like when I go to the Ceiling Experience, I still get that. And I'm just watching this and it just tearing me up watching these guys, these heroes I grew up watching and then later covering. And it just meant a lot to me. More to me now than it did in 1982. I think about going to games with my dad in the 70s and watching the Molitors and Younts, and that's what it all brings back to me. Going to ballpark, it brings back memories. I'm starting to feel a little bit right now. But yeah, when I'm telling you, if that movie or documentary is anything like that trailer I saw, it's going to be a heck of a movie. And I've seen features done on the 82 Brewers, and the Ceiling Experience talks about the whole franchise. And for a guy like me who practically grew up at County Stadium, going to games with my dad and all that, that was just a cool minute. I'm like, I couldn't watch it again. I got to the end of the video and I'm looking for napkins and all because I'm crying. I'm in this fast food restaurant and I'm like welling up. Oh man, I gotta say goodbye before I do it again. But man, it really got to me. Hey everybody, didn't mean to end on that kind of a note. But man, the franchise, the Brewers mean a lot to a lot of us out there. You know, they do. And they're a fun team to watch. Just got to get them back to the World Series. Download us on Google, Spotify, Apple, on all the major downloads, wherever you download your podcast. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the bell there, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, it'll alert you every time we drop an episode. Yeah, it was one loss. Been a lot of heartbreaking losses, but just one loss, and we'll get in tomorrow in St. Louis. Chuck Freeman, have yourself a great Thursday, everybody. We'll see you all Thursday night on Locked On Brewers.